Hello, welcome to the Digital Library Resources webinar. My name is Linda Cifelli. I'm a librarian working at Kean University's Nancy Thompson Learning Commons. During today's webinar, we will try to cover a lot of information, but in particular, we will focus on the various research support and learning support services that are available to Kean University students and faculty through the Learning Commons. We'll also look at how we can use WorldCat Discovery to search for and access books, ebooks, articles, multimedia, and a whole lot more. We'll highlight the wide variety of both multidisciplinary as well as subject-focused resources that are available to us through our database's A to Z page, and we'll highlight some database searching strategies that typically produce relevant search results. And finally, we'll look at what our options are for accessing full text articles when a database does not happen to provide access to a full text link. So we'll look at a lot of these things as we move along today. I'm going to go over to the university's website, and we'll start from here. On the university's website, there is a quick links button in the top right corner, and if we click on quick links, we can then click the link for Learning Commons at the top of the quick links menu. And this simply brings us over to the Learning Commons website. And the Learning Commons does house the library services and collections and resources, but it also provides access to some other important learning support services. In fact, there is a button on the website for learning support services. We can click there and gather more information, but I should highlight that through learning support services, Kean students have access to tutoring services, writing services, public speaking services, academic coaching, as well as graduate student services. In fact, you can visit tutoring.kean.edu, and this is your access point for scheduling appointments for any of these learning support services. So tutoring.kean.edu, please visit that when you have a chance. On the website, we have a number of other ways that you can gather more information or get assistance. In fact, on the website, we do have a button, a circle labeled workshops, and you can click there and see the wide variety of upcoming workshops that have been scheduled. We also have an Ask Us link at the top of the screen, but we also have an Ask Us circle that's on the right side of the screen when I scroll down. And this is a way to get to a list of FAQs, a lot of the questions that we've received a number of times over the years. We've posted answers here. And in fact, when you click on the Ask Us button or a link, you then see a button labeled Make a Research Appointment. And this is a way for you to click and access the list of librarians who currently have appointment availability. And this changes all the time as we add in new appointment slots. So this is a way for you to schedule a one-on-one research appointment with a librarian who can assist you with the beginning stages of a research project, or as you're further along in your project, and perhaps if you're having some trouble accessing relevant resources, we can certainly meet with you and help you through that process. Should also mention that on the Learning Commons website, there's also a chat window that appears in the bottom right corner. So we have the Learning Commons support chat. And this chat service is truly available 24/7. You can send questions that you have about library research, accessing books or ebooks, selecting databases, selecting keywords. We can help you with those types of questions. But you can also send questions here about learning support services, tutoring, writing, and so on. And what we will do is we will connect you to the people who can help answer your questions. But it is available 24/7. And if you do happen to send a question through the chat window when the Learning Commons is closed, what will happen is a librarian from another library, perhaps working in another time zone, will pick up your questions and they will try their best to help you. So please do give the chat window a try when you have a chance. So at this point, we'll switch gears a bit and we'll focus more on the library research tools that are available to you through this website. And in fact, we do have a search box that's right here in the center of the screen. At the moment, it's labeled Search WorldCat Discovery, but you may find that at some point the wording above the search box changes to something like Search the Library or Library Searching or something like that. But the search box will remain here even if it does have a different heading. And basically, this is a database that you can use to quickly access records for the books and ebooks that are available to us through Kean University. But you can actually use it to look for articles and videos, open educational resources, government sources, and other types of formats. So it's a good starting point for any research project. And I like to say that WorldCat Discovery does work an awful lot like a Google search. So you simply have to think about your topic, think of the main words, the keywords that represent your topic, and type them into the search box. You don't even have to connect them with any of the Boolean operators like and, or, not. You typically have to do that type of search in some of our other library databases, but here we can just type in the main keywords. So for instance, if I'm interested in finding books, ebooks, or maybe even articles that focus on the impact of sleep or lack of sleep on college students, what I could do is perhaps type in words like sleep. I might even try sleep deprivation, but for now I'll try sleep. And then I'll also type in college students. And as you see, I'm not putting the word and in between any of my keywords. I'm just typing in the keywords. The database will automatically pick up on records that mention each one of the keywords that I've typed in. And when I run the search now, I did it as an everything search, so I didn't select only articles or only books. I searched for everything. And what's happening now is the database, WorldCat, is picking up more than 10,000 results that are apparently available to us from Kean University's Nancy Thompson Library or Learning Commons. And because I did an everything search, as I scroll down the list, I will see that different types of formats are available to me. So number 1 on the list is labeled as a book, and it actually does have an access online button. So looks like it may be an ebook. Or some sort of electronic resource. The same thing with number 2. Number 3 on the list, however, is labeled as an article, and this one also has a view full text button. And then as you scroll down, number 4, this is actually an e-video, and I can click view now and view the video online over my computer or other device. So as you see, we do have access to different types of resources. And here we have an ebook, number 7. So if you are focusing on trying to find ebooks or print books or articles, it might make good sense to use the filter options that appear on the left-hand side of the screen. So I did scroll back up to the top, and now I'm going to start scrolling down a little bit. I notice how the search result is defaulting to things that are held by Kean University's Nancy Thompson Library. But if I wanted to, I could always click libraries worldwide and see what things are available at other libraries as well. But for now, I'll keep it on the Kean University limit. As I scroll down a bit further, there's another section. This one's labeled Format. And here, if I so choose, I can add a check mark by print book or by ebook. And in that way, the list will only show me those types of sources. For many students, for many research projects, you may need to focus on finding scholarly peer-reviewed journal articles. So you could always click on the article checkbox, but even better yet, if you scroll down a little bit further, there's a section labeled Content Type, and this allows you to choose the peer-reviewed limit. And I will do that right now. I'll click peer-reviewed, and what happens is the database removes the books and the ebooks It also removes any magazine or newspaper articles that might have been on the original result list. And now what I see are articles that are categorized as peer-reviewed or coming from peer-reviewed scholarly journals. So these articles have apparently gone through a peer review process where they are reviewed by experts in the academic discipline. And many of these articles, if not all of them, will provide access to information about research studies completed by the authors of the articles. So here we have number 1, Interrupted Sleep, College Students Sleeping with Technology. It's from a journal called Journal of American College Health, published several years ago in October 2019. I could click View Full Text, and then this box pops open, and it's showing that I have several options for accessing the full text from several databases. It does look like most of these databases are databases from EBSCOhost, but some of them down towards the bottom are coming from another company. So here we have one from ProQuest Central. So what I could do is click on any of these view full text links, which will bring me over to the database where the full text is available. And hopefully at that point, you do see a link for PDF full text or perhaps linked full text. So here I can click the PDF link and there it is. So I'm able to access the full text article. And then from this screen, I can download, I can email, I can do lots of different things, but we'll talk a little bit about that more in a few minutes. So basically, when you're working from WorldCat Discovery, you can run your search. You may need to tweak the search terms a little bit, maybe try sleep deprivation, college students, and the results will look a little bit different. But then try clicking on the View Full Text button if it's there to navigate to the full text article. However, we also have access to the other types of resources. As we mentioned, we have books and ebooks that were also showing up on the original result list. So now if I go back and remove the peer review limit and then go back to the original result list where I do have access now again to books and so on, I could just scroll down until I see one of the ebooks, or I could use the ebook limit that was on the left side. So here I'll click on this one. This is an ebook published in 2016. I'll click View Ebook and then once again choose one of the databases. So I'll do the first one. And then it's bringing me into the full text ebook, which happens to be available from the EBSCOhost database. So we do end up in different databases when we access different ebooks. So we do have a number of different ebook providers. So you might end up in EBSCO like we are at the moment. You might end up in a ProQuest database, or you might end up in Sage. So you will find that you're experiencing different interfaces when you click on these different view ebook links, but usually you'll see very similar features available to you when you go into an ebook. For instance, on the left side, I do see a table of contents, so I can click and go into different chapters in the book. But I also see a search within option on the left, so I can type in a keyword and maybe search for something specific within the contents of this ebook. And then I can access specific pages that mention the keyword I typed in. So this is a common feature in various ebook databases. And you'll also see options for perhaps saving or downloading pages of the book or emailing different pages to yourself, printing pages from the ebook. You may run into limits on your ability to print and download. Sometimes you'll find that you're not able to print everything that you want to print because the databases do have restrictions on the number of pages you can print. Usually it's about 20% of the book, and these limitations are based on copyright restrictions. So hopefully you're able to print the chapters that you need, but maybe not the entire ebook. But I would also look for options for help that's provided for the citation style. So for instance, there's a button at the top for cite. We can click and then we see the different citation styles, how we would cite the source in, say, APA 7th edition or MLA 9th edition. You can always copy and paste those citations into a Google Doc or into another a Word document, and then keep track of your sources. But just remember to proofread these citations because they may not be perfectly formatted. They are generated automatically by the database and various algorithms, so that they may not be perfectly formatted. But it does provide a lot of help and may save you some time. But I would also look for the permalink or permanent link option that does appear in many of our databases. Here we see permalink. And then what happens when you click, another permalink window opens up. So it gives you a URL that you can copy and paste somewhere. And because this is a permanent link, it will work for you later on when you go back and try to click on that link and get back to this ebook. I would definitely avoid copying and pasting the URL that you see at the top of the browser, because that browser URL will time out after a period of time. And if you were to copy and paste the link at the top of the browser, that will not work for you later on. So it's always a safer bet to look for the permalink option, sometimes called permanent link or persistent URL, depending on the database that you're using. So again, most of these features do appear in different databases when you go to access ebooks. And if we go back to the WorldCat result list, I should also mention that right on the WorldCat result list, we also have some features that can be helpful, including the button for cite, and even WorldCat will provide some assistance with the citation style. And once again, it does give you a little bit of a warning about inspecting the citation for missing data, indentation, and so on. So you definitely want to proofread the citation before you turn the citation into one of your professors. It may not be perfectly formatted, but hopefully it's pretty close and it can save you some time. What we also see on the WorldCat result list for each item is a button labeled share. And when you click, it gives you an email form. You can fill this out and send yourself this record so you have access to it later on. And right here on the share screen, there's also a copy link button. So that's the same thing that we were talking about a moment ago. You can copy and paste that link somewhere, and that link will work for you later on. So definitely take advantage of these features. So WorldCat Discovery is a great place to start your search, but just bear in mind that you may need to tweak your terminology. If you find that you're not getting a lot of results for college students, for instance, you may want to switch it to something else like young adults. You might want to add in the word deprivation after sleep. So you can try your search in different ways. And just remember, if you do find that you're not having a lot of success, maybe you need some help with brainstorming, please talk to a librarian, make an appointment with one of us, and we'll be happy to help you through, to talk things over, and maybe we can generate some ideas together that will get you to some more relevant search results. So definitely give that a try. I should also mention that the WorldCat database it does provide a lot of access to our full text journal articles, but it doesn't necessarily provide access to all of the journal articles that are available to us through the Kean library databases. So usually what I recommend to students is that at some point after spending some time searching in WorldCat Discovery, that they make their way back to the Learning Commons website. I'm just going to click on the Kean logo in the top left corner. So I'm back on the home page, and I did want to stress that we do have access to an awful lot of other databases. And you may have better luck if you search in some of the other databases that specialize in particular subject areas. Or you may want to explore some of the other multidisciplinary databases that are available to you as well. So for instance, right on the Learning Commons website, just below the WorldCat Discovery search box, we do have a row with some links. And one of those links is for databases A to Z. And this is what I'd like to spend a few moments exploring. If we click on databases A to Z, you land on a page that lists all of the databases to which Kean University subscribes. So most of the databases listed here are not freely available on the internet to everybody. Instead, these databases are available to Kean University students and faculty and other employees. And you do have access to them from off campus because you are a Kean member, community member. What'll happen when you click on any of the links for the databases here is it will ask you to log in with your Kean email, username, and password. So you do have, at the moment, more than 280 database options, but that number does go up and down, as we add and remove databases from our menu. We do have an alphabetical menu, which is really helpful. If you have a favorite database that you use all the time, you can just click on the alphabet and navigate to the spot on the list where that database is listed. But say you're not sure of which database would work best for your research topic. We do provide some other options for browsing the database page if you're not sure where to start. So for instance, above the alphabetical menu, you do have buttons labeled all subjects. There's another button labeled all database types. For instance, if you click on all database types, what you'll see are categories for different types of information. So if you need to find biographical information about a person, you have that as an option. If you need to find career information or company, industry information, country information, you have those options. There's even an option for statistics down at the bottom, towards the bottom of the database types menu. And on the other left-hand side of the screen, there's the button labeled all subjects. So when you click there, you'll see subject areas listed. Many of these align with the majors, the academic majors at Kean or various academic programs, or just other subject areas. So for instance, if you're taking a chemistry course, we do have an option for chemistry and physics. If you're taking a communication course, we have that as a category. We have nursing, we have education, psychology, and so on. So you can always choose the category that would be helpful for the course that you're taking where you have a research project. Click on the subject area that matches up with that course, and then hopefully you'll see a list of the databases that the librarians consider to be the best bets for research in that subject area. Unfortunately, each database also has a description, so hopefully those descriptions can help guide your database selections as well. But I'm just going to go back up to the top, towards the top of the screen, and click Clear Filters, Browse All Databases to go back to the original really big listing of databases. And I thought that for today's webinar, it might be helpful to focus on some of the databases that do provide access to a lot of different subject area coverage. And for instance, we do have a number of databases that are available from the EBSCOhost company. We also have a number of different databases that are available from the ProQuest company. And these might be good database platforms to explore, at least when you're starting a research project. And in fact, the EBSCOhost databases might be a good place to start because they are fairly user-friendly and you do have a lot of subject area coverage. In fact, you could just click right on Academic Search Premier, which is the second database on the alphabetical menu, and it does mention EBSCOhost in parentheses after Academic Search Premier. So this is one of the big databases available from EBSCOhost. This would be a good option. You can just click right into that one, or you could click on the letter E for EBSCO, scroll down in alphabetical order until you see the link for EBSCO host research databases. It does have a message that says something about clicking EBSCO host web to select multiple databases for simultaneous searching. So what this means is if we click on the link for EBSCO host research databases, on the next screen, we want to click the link for EBSCO host web, and then you see the complete menu of all of the databases available to us on the EBSCO host platform. And Academic Search Premier is the default. That's the big multidisciplinary database. So for many research topics, Academic Search Premier would be a good option because it is multidisciplinary. But depending on your research topic, you might want to add some additional check marks next to the databases whose descriptions seem to align with your research project. So it might be a health topic or history, psychology. In fact, for the topic that I've been exploring, the sleep deprivation in college students, I think that we may be able to approach this topic from several different subject area perspectives. Even psychology, the psychological impact of lack of sleep on college students. So I might consider adding a check mark by APA Psych articles and maybe even APA Psych Info. They both provide access to journal articles in the psychology field. But I think I'll also add check marks by some of the education databases. So I'm scrolling pretty quickly here, but we do have an option for Education Source, but we also have ERIC, which is also described as an education database. And I think I'm actually going to scroll back up and add in some of the health databases. We do have CINAHL Ultimate, which is described as a nursing and allied health database. I'll add that one in as well. And you could certainly scroll down and add some of the other databases that may make sense for your own research topic. We do have business databases, humanities like literature, LGBTQ+ source, as well as SocIndex with full text. That's down towards the bottom. That's an excellent sociology database. So you do have a lot of options. Just add as many check marks as you want and then click continue when you're ready. And then it'll bring you to the search screen. Even though it's only showing that we're searching Academic Search Premier at the moment, if we click Show All, we see our other database options, and then we can run our search. It's sort of like one-stop searching. We're searching several databases all at once. And I think the big difference searching in the EBSCO databases as compared to searching in the WorldCat database, which we used earlier on, is that this database will work a lot better if we put the word "and" as a connector in between our search terms. So here we could focus on sleep and college students, but maybe we want to focus on how does sleep or lack of sleep impact academic performance. So that's actually showing up as one of the suggested searches. So by putting the word "and" in between our search terms, we're simply telling the database to only retrieve articles that mention each one of those search terms. So hopefully that will mean that the results that come up are pretty relevant. And we are getting over 500 articles that are picking up on these search terms. And if you scroll down a bit and look on the left-hand side, it may be helpful to add a check mark next to the words peer-reviewed in the limit section, and that will simply remove any magazine or newspaper articles from your result list, and will focus on giving you access to the articles published in scholarly peer-reviewed journals. But you might also consider changing the publication date range. Depending on your search, you may find that you're finding articles that were published decades, if not centuries ago. And in many cases, you will need to focus on finding articles published in the last 10 years or maybe even the last 5 years. I would always double check with your professor. So you can adjust the publication date range as well, and that will also narrow down the result list. I would certainly keep an eye out for alternative search terms that may show up on the result list. You may see different words showing up in the title. You could click on the title, and then on the next screen, you'll see the article's abstract. You may see different search term ideas showing up there as well. But even back on the result list, each article on the list has a section labeled subjects. And these are words that are kind of like hashtags that have been assigned to the article based on what the article is really about. So the subject terms can help you evaluate the source and see if you're on the right track, but they may also give you ideas for different search terms that you might try out on your next revised search. In fact, we had originally searched for academic performance, but as you scroll down, you may see that there are alternative options. Here we have academic achievement that's showing up. So I can always come back up to the top and maybe replace academic performance with academic achievement and get a different result list. So just be a little creative and try out your different ideas, and hopefully you'll find that the articles coming up have relevance to your research project, and that the records also include the full text links ideally. So here we go. Here's number 1. It's health effects about sleeping habits on college students. So there's a PDF full text link. This is coming from the International Journal of Early Childhood Special Education. Number 2 is coming from the Journal of American College Health, and also focusing on college students and sleep quality. So if you click on the PDF full text link, you'll land on the full text article that you can download onto your own computer or device if you have that available at the moment. But you can also use the buttons that appear on the right side of the screen. For instance, there's an email button. So you can type in your email address, and before clicking send, I would actually choose the citation format drop-down menu and select the citation style that you're going to be using for your project. And in that way, the database not only sends you the full text article link, but the email message will have the article information formatted for you in whichever citation style you select. So there are some other options along the right as well. So there's a link option. We had spoken about this a bit earlier. When you click on the link, you get the permalink that you can copy and paste somewhere. So you have access to that link later on, and that will work for you. But you also have a Google Drive link as well, which can be handy. So if you happen to be signed into your Kean email account, you can simply click on Google Drive, and the database will save the article into your Google Drive account. So that's a really quick and easy way of making sure that you have access to this article later on. So I'll just go back to the result list, and we can scroll down. You may see that there are different types of full text available to you. For instance, here's number 6 that says full text from Eric. So that will lead you to the full text, but also it's available from the Eric database. You might see linked full text like number 8. When you click on that, it usually leads you to the full text in a completely different database, and you may not see the same email and drop it into Google Drive options that you were seeing in the EBSCO database. So if you'd like to take advantage of those options, I would click on the article title instead. And then you see the Google Drive, email, and so on the right. So you may just have to try different options to get to something that'll work with what you're trying to do. And there are sometimes another full text option available to us, the full text finder. And when you see this option with the little circle with the green lines, that simply means that we're not actually accessing this full text article from any of the EBSCO databases, but the system is recognizing that one of our other library databases is supposed to have the full text. So when you click on full text finder, another window pops open. If it does get stuck on the blank screen, or if you see a little sad face symbol, you could click on open the page in a new window up top, but this one did work. It just took a few seconds. And now I can download the PDF. And then I do have access to the full text article. So it just took a couple of extra seconds to navigate to the full text article. So as I mentioned earlier, if you do run into problems with your searching, if you're not accessing things that would be relevant for you, please do talk to a librarian, make an appointment with one of us, reach out, please let us know, and we're happy to help. I would also just try to be a little bit creative with your search terms. So if you do find that you're not getting a whole lot of articles that are focusing on college students, that's not actually the case here, but maybe you do want to open up your search to not just college students, but also maybe young adults. That would maybe be an alternative term to use for many college students. What you could do is switch out college students with young adults, or you could do a slightly fancier search strategy simply by putting a parenthesis in front of college students. Then after college students, type the word or as a different type of connector, and then type young adults. I would actually type young adult with an asterisk and then close parenthesis. So what the asterisk is doing here is it's serving as a truncation symbol. It's allowing me to just type the beginning part of a word stem. And then when the database sees the asterisk, it'll automatically retrieve not only the word adult, but also any longer variants of that word stem, like adults plural or adulthood. That comes in handy anytime you have any search terms that have different word ending variants, like child, childhood, children. I would just type child with an asterisk, and the database will find all of those different variants of that word. So that comes in handy with a lot of databases. We're putting the word or in between college students, young adults, because we want to give the database an option to find either college students or young adults in the articles that are retrieved. So a single article doesn't have to have both of those terms, but at least one of them. And we do want to enclose those words we've connected with or with the parenthesis, just so we don't confuse the database, because we are also tying in words like sleep with the and connector, because we definitely want to find the word sleep. And then we definitely want to find the term academic achievement. So you may have to play with this a little bit, but you do have ways to open up your search and find more and more possible articles. And the thing is, this type of search strategy will work in other databases as well. So I often do recommend that you try searching in more than one database, because different databases provide access to different journals. For instance, if we're happy with this search strategy, we can just copy it, navigate back out to the A to Z databases page. I'm going to click on the up arrow on the right to go back up to the top. And I think at this point, I'd like to try the same search in one of the ProQuest databases. So I'm going to click on the letter P in the alphabetical menu, scroll down, and then we have options for ProQuest Central, or even ProQuest Research Databases, which is also like a simultaneous database searching option. So it's 16 ProQuest databases searching all at the same time. We could run the same exact search, and many times you'll find that you get a lot more articles in ProQuest than you were getting in the EBSCO databases. So here we're actually getting more than 300,000 results, which is a little bit overwhelming to me. But what we can do is to narrow down by using the limit options on the left. So we can limit to peer reviewed. You could also limit to a particular publication date range. So if we scroll down a bit and look on the left, you can limit to the last 10 years, the last 5 years. So last 5 years will make the list a little bit smaller as well. So now we're down to just over 7,000 articles. And what I might consider doing to get the number down even more would perhaps to include phrase searching. So if I want to find the exact phrase college students, those two words together as a phrase, I could put quotation marks around college students. I could put quotation marks around young adult as well, and maybe even around academic achievement. So by enclosing some of these phrases inside quotes, I'm telling the database to only find articles that mention those exact phrases, and not, for instance, academic blah, 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 blah achievement, which may go a little bit off topic. So phrase searching with quotation marks can be really helpful as well. So when I redo the search, I'm now down to just over 2,000 articles. So that's not quite as overwhelming. And the database is sorting by relevance. So hopefully you'll find that the better matches are towards the top of the list. Hopefully you'll also find that many of the articles that you like have full text PDF options. And if you click on any of these full text PDFs, once again, you can download the PDF full text onto your computer or other device. You also have buttons in the top right corner for getting help with the citation format, emailing, printing, and so on. And as you're looking at the list, the result list, you might also see this mysterious little circle with the green lines like we see with number 4. We had seen that symbol in the EBSCO database as well, and you may recall that that's the symbol for full text finder. So the system is recognizing that although in this case the ProQuest database does not provide access to this article, hopefully if you click on that little symbol, okay, this one didn't work, but usually what happens is it will lead you out to the full text in a completely different database. So I'll try this one instead. Oh, that's also not working. So usually it does work, but for some reason, maybe there's a little bit of a technical glitch going on right now that we'll have to look into. So, okay, this one did work. So this one took us over to the EBSCO database, and then here's the PDF link. So yeah, so just try clicking the links. Hopefully they'll work for you, but if you do run into problems, that would be a good example of a question that you might want to send through the chat window on the Learning Commons website. So I'm actually going to end the webinar at this point. We did cover an awful lot of information, and I'm hoping that these strategies, these search options will work for you with your own research, but please do reach out for help if you need it. Remember, you could always come through the chat window on the Learning Commons website. You can send questions that way. And you can also schedule appointments with a librarian. You can click on the Ask Us button or the link at the top of the screen. And remember the Make a Research Appointment button that appears there on the left. And also, you could always reach out to me directly at my Kean email account. It's listed on the screen right now. But we also have an Ask a Librarian email account that's monitored by a number of the Kean librarians. So you can reach out to us at library@kean.edu as well. But thank you for attending or viewing today's webinar. And remember, if you do have questions, please do reach out for help, and we're always happy to assist you. Thank you.